I'm Tommy Coletti at the Music Zoo, here with the brand new American Vintage Series Telecaster. The new American Vintage Series guitar, Fender's taken great stakes in going back and actually, like a great detective, looking at several dozen of the vintage guitars. They compared model year to model year, so they looked at several different 56 Strats, 64 Teles, and compared one to another and do a rediscovery to see like maybe what they were missing in their vintage series, not to take anything away from the old stuff, but how to really make it better and more authentic and as close as possible. And some of the painstaking things that they went through, besides looking at these several different guitars, was actually they sent the plastic parts to a lab to be analyzed, and they found that actually what they thought was Bakelite turned out to be this new cutting-edge plastic called ABS, which is obviously like a very common thing today. But another big thing was what they're calling now their new Fender Flash Coat. It's actually sort of taking it's something new, but it was done in the past and they just reinvented it again. Fender went back and looked exactly how they were spraying the finishes back in the 50s and 60s, and found that they were using a sanding sealer, a wash coat, all lacquer, and then a couple of coats of lacquer on top of that. And a big part of the process is after the lacquer has been shot, they don't really highly buff the lacquer, because what happens is when you buff a guitar, what we found here at the Music Zoo is the more finish or paint or sealer or whatever that's on a guitar, sometimes the less resonant the guitar actually is. So what they've done is they, even in their final buffing, have found that if you buff the guitar too much, you actually plasticize the paint, and it hermetically seals the guitar, and the guitar all of a sudden becomes a little less resonant. So all of these things were taken into account. As well, they went back and redesigned the case. They found that the depth of the case was actually a little shallower than they were making currently, so they went back and redesigned that, as well as offering every piece of case candy that came with the guitars in the 50s and 60s, including the jack. The jack was emulated. On the telly, the metal knobs and the burl in the knobs was exact tooled again. Every measure on this new American Vintage Series guitar went to great lengths to really like dial it in and get it perfect. We feel that they're great, and it's a huge step forward and step back at the same time for Fender.